right, so let's take a look at this problem and work on it together. We're going to do both methods. First, we'll talk with the proportions, and then we'll take a look at how to solve it without using the proportions for those of you that are comfortable enough to just see what's going on. All right, so it says, what's the value of f in the simplest radical form? So first of all, you have to decide, is it a 30, 60, or 90 degree triangle? Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and let's draw our chart, 30, 60, 90. Okay, next to 30, I put a 1 because that's the shortest side. All right, the middle length side is radical 3 times the shortest, and then the hypotenuse is 2 times the shortest. So you've got to remember those numbers right there. So let's go ahead and let's fill in our information. All right, so across from the shortest angle is the shortest side. So if trying to figure out which one's which, it's across from each angle. The shortest side is across from the shortest angle. So this one is 5 radical 3 over 3. Across from my 60-degree angle is the next biggest leg, which is 5. Okay, and then across from my 90-degree angle is my hypotenuse, my longest side, which is my variable. All right, so from here, I can use any of the two I want to set up my proportion. Of course, I want to use the one that has a variable in it. Okay, let me rephrase that. Not want, you have to. Otherwise, what are you solving for? And then it doesn't matter which one you use. I'm going to choose this one because it looks less threatening. Also, if I notice over here, I have a fraction. So I don't want to be putting a fraction in a fraction because that gets really messy. So try to make it as simple for yourself as possible. All right, so to solve, I'm going to cross multiply. F radical 3, 2 times 5 is 10. So to solve, I divide by radical 3. Okay, once again, if the problem does not tell you to rationalize the denominator, you are more than welcome to go ahead and leave it like that. If it does tell you to, we need to multiply by the square root of 3 over the square root of 3, which gives me 10 radical 3 over radical 3 times radical 3 is radical 9. And we all know radical 9 is a perfect square, so it's 3. So that is my final answer. Now, to show you how to do without setting up the proportion chart, you just need to know your side lengths. We know that the hypotenuse is 2 times the length of the shortest side. Just kidding, that's not the shortest side. Wrong way, arrow. 2 times the length of the shortest side. Okay, so that means that F is going to be equal to 2 times 5 radical 3 over 3. Okay, it's not just 2 times anything, it's 2 times the shortest, so you got to know which one the shortest is. Okay, we don't know the length. Currently, we can figure it out, but as of right now, we don't know the length of the hypotenuse compared to the longer leg. Okay, we could always figure that out using our proportion, but tomato, tomato, don't need to. So to simplify, 2 times 5 is 10. There's no radical here, so that stays radical 3, and that's over 3. Okay, so that's how I got my answer. So some of you will not need that proportional chart. It's okay if you do. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. You're going to do the last problem on your own, whichever method you want. I will show both. Okay, you need to think about this triangle and think about your side length. So go ahead and pause it and try it. All right, go ahead, take a look. So what I had to know was on my diagram that, first of all, this whole thing, because it's 18, 18, 18, is equilateral. All the angles in an equilateral triangle are 60. So that means that this angle down here is 60. This angle up here is cut in half by the dashed line. So the whole thing is 60, but what I'm just looking at right here, this little half of it is 30. So you needed to figure out that first, and so you could figure out which sides belong to the, the shortest, the longer, and then the hypotenuse. Okay, so since this is cut in half, this is 9. From here to here is 9. Your hypotenuse is 18, okay, because that's across from the right angle. And then the side I'm trying to find right here is x. That's across from the 60-degree angle. So when I fill in my chart, I have across from my shortest side is the 9. I'm sorry, my shortest angle is the 9. It's the shortest side. Across from my 60-degree angle was my x, and across from my 90-degree angle was my 18. So from here, I set up a proportion, and it doesn't matter which one you use, the 1 over 9 or 2 over 18, but what matters is the fact that you use this in right here, okay, because that has the missing piece. So when I cross multiply, I solve, I just get 9 radical 3. There's really not much to do. I can't simplify. I'm done. Okay. If you thought about it just by looking at it, okay, you were finding the 60-degree side. So the the side across from the 60-degree angle. So the side across from the 60-degree angle is the shortest side times radical 3. As long as you know the shortest side, it's easier. It's a little trickier when you're trying to find that. But my shortest side is 9, so it's just going to be the 9 times radical 3 in my answer. So some of you can just think about the pattern and jump right to there. Some of you will need to set up the proportion, and that's okay. All right, we will be doing practice with this in class, but make sure you're bringing your questions to class. Adios.